Welcome to part 6. And in this part we're doing the wiring harness.
Engine harness.
Engine harness, conversion harness, and charge harness. Because we ordered everything else but that.
We can make one though.
Yeah, we're good at doing that.
Make it.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Fuck. In order to install our new harness, we have to remove the old harness. Okay, so the ground is off. It's hard to pull these off.
So am I.
On the side, so I can't seal it. Careful. Oh shit. I don't think I've even changed. Alright.
Wait, one more, hold on.
There we go. Oh, that's all disconnected.
Wow, that was actually pretty simple.
Alright, cool. There's the old harness.
Oh, awesome. It's so tiny.
Yeah, there's not much to it. We got the engine kind of like stripped of the harness now. So here we have a B series throttle body. And we're doing that because we didn't have an RSX one. So here's the blocks, K to B adapter. So it comes with gaskets, comes with the adapter plate obviously, and new hardware, and a sticker. Call local shops and just ask them.
Oh. Okay.
Did that, I pretty much just sent them all. So this gasket goes like that. Great, great! The adapter piece ready to go on. And just put it on just like that. Wow, we will. They on line to you? Yeah, we're gonna have to trim this, look. So it hits there. And I'm gonna show you right there. It's hitting right there. So we're just gonna lop it off because that was just for, I would guess, a bracket for the old harness. It's cold. I know. You can see your breath. Yeah. Not good. It's gonna get. I'll take this. This is gonna end up going through the firewall over here. So let's just start lining up. And we also have crank position sensor. One of these has to get changed to the from the RSX one over to the ESS. Yeah. There's oil pressure sensor, so that goes down here. Did you ever get that one off?
Yeah, I did.
That one there, and then this one is for the VTC. Yeah, that's alright. See that?
Yeah.
Should we do the TSX one?
Do you want to put this ground on?
No. So at this time, we have the harness all plugged into most sensors and everything. These things will all get plugged in after. We're going to take off this section of the intake manifold just to give us some room to work with and to put the starter in. It's going to be kind of hard to see, but there's the crank position sensor. The TSX sensor is a little different, so we're going to have to change the plug on there, on this one, from the RSX one, and take it from the TSX harness. And then we have that running down there. This is just a loose mock-up. It's gonna be running down there, and then it'll go into the normal ECU location, and then that's where it's gonna meet up with the conversion harness, which is all right here. This is kind of laid out roughly too. It's gonna be running along the underside of the dash, and then it's gonna come out and into those shock tower plugs. Okay, so this firewall grommet has to come out. It's kind of a pain in the ass is the best way to describe it. Holy crap. Alright. This thing sucks. So on the Carceps guide, it shows we have to notch this here. And then just cut. Boom. It's the next day. We stopped yesterday because it was just getting too late, and we were fighting the harness. Well, I was fighting the harness pretty good. Armin got the crank position, the TSX crank position sensor switched over to the RSX harness, but I could not get the engine harness down the firewall. I think it got through, and then because there's three kind of plugs, so two of them went around the cabin harness one way, and the other one went the other way, and that was the furthest we got it, so we weren't able to pull it through. And then when we tried again, like, my arm was tired. I was done. I'm gonna try again today, and hopefully it goes this time. This is how I actually ended up getting the engine harness through. I tried as hard as I could to do it without pulling this, but it was pretty easy. It was these amount of bolts and nuts. So drop that out first, and then drop the blower motor. Didn't even disconnect it all the way. And then now we got our harness here, and we'll run that down into there where the factory ECU goes. After putting in all this work to get this engine harness through the firewall on this side behind the blower motor, I realized that it might not be long enough to tuck this down nicely in the engine bay. And so now what we're doing is the K-Tube method, which is going through the AC block off plug, because we don't have AC in this car. So it's gonna cut up this grommet, and it should go through a lot easier, and we'll have a lot more length to play with and to route it kind of furthest from the exhaust manifold and motor as physically possible. Now we got this cut out and I sliced in the top, so should easily just slide into there like that. Before I threw the harness through the firewall for the hopefully final time, I just want to make sure that I get the harness clipped up on the firewall nicely, so it's, you know, not dangling and it's not vibrating against anything. It's going to be in these kind of insulated, there's like rubber in here, so it's going to vibrate against that, which is much better than rubbing up against something I just zip tie it to, like a brake liner, something like that. That looks great. And now from this side, it's looking great, nice and tucked up against the firewall. And you can see it comes over and right into the grommet. It is nice and secure. It's not going anywhere. That's awesome. So to connect up this side, the driver's side of the conversion harness, I believe you're supposed to push the shock tower plugs through, and you can do that while leaving the loom exposed here. If you just shove the heads, if you cut the grommet and then, like, you know, slice the grommet, how we did on the other side, and then just shove these wires through. But I want to just completely hide these looms underneath the dash. So I'll kind of split it up, and then I'll put new split loom on there, tape it up. And then so it's just going to be the wiper and headlight harness that's sitting here, and the other shock tower plugs will be underneath the dash, completely hidden, out of sight, make it clean as possible. After fighting with this grommet for so long, I figured I'd try some silicone to help kind of slide it in, and that helped so much. So that's definitely a trick I'll be using in the future. But yeah, this bracket took that off now. And got our daytime running lights back on, got our reservoir back on, and the whole headlight harness clip back on. So this looks way cleaner than it would have if I just shoved those other plugs through. We have those wires coming down here, and we also have our conversion harness plug. So those plug easily into here now, and we can find a nice spot to tuck everything right here, probably in this corner. The under dash knee panel is all back. Can't see nothing underneath there, which is exactly what you want. Perfect. Bang! Woo! Now on this side, we have our O2 sensors. We're gonna push the primary through back to the same grommet that we use for the engine harness. The O2 sensor is now run through the same firewall grommet and even the same clip. And it's just run behind the subframe in front of the firewall, all the way down to where the exhaust manifold or downpipe will go. Now, one major thing that isn't done is the charge harness and all these plugs up front. I'm gonna take off this first part of the 2-piece TSX manifold in order to gain some access to here. This should come off. Awesome. Cool, and there's still a little vacuum hose connected there. And now I can move this out of the way. Wham! This moment, I'm taking off the old knock sensor. Any guesses? Any guesses why? It's because I broke it. I did read that the knock sensors from K24 and K20 E2 are the same and functionality wise, but I want to use this from a K20 E2 so we can avoid switching the plug. Obviously, if you only had the K24 knock sensor, it would be more than fine to do that. Actually, I'm going to take that off. I'll put the starter in right now. Right here, we got our new starter. The old one was definitely on its way out, so it made sense to just replace this one. So I'm going to take the knock sensor plug and we get push the alternator one over here. I'll zip tie those here eventually. This is just extra sensor wire, I guess. Maybe we can do fan switch with this one. Got our alternator, and I'm going to be installing this. Okay, so the alternator is bolted in now, and we'll run over and plug it in. There you go. So it's clipped in now. So that'll get tucked underneath the manifold with the rest of the wires. TSX charge harness. We're just gonna dissect it so we can get our power for our alternator and for our starter all the way up to our battery. So out of this huge mess now, we want this one and we want this one. Boom. So this is for our starter and this is for our alternator. Get real creative here and imagine. Use your imagination. Okay, so these are your two cables going from alternator and battery to the fuse box here. So those are here. Your battery terminal is right here. The alternator charge wire runs. I am gonna run it beside the frame rail, but I'll make sure it's secured there like really well. And that runs up. So that's right here. That's this black one. And then this one from the battery post comes all the way. This is for the starter. And you can see this is the only one that needs to get lengthened. So it's got I'm planning for it to come around the same way for the alternator and then straight shot right to there. And then these ones will have to get shortened and possibly new terminals put on there. So check that out. So we got our wires running here, right down here. They run over here and to their respective spots. One of the ring terminals is on. I pretty much just use a vice grip, fill it up with solder, and then plunge the end into there. A lot more fun than, you know, lengthening a wire. Those are now run. Everything looks great. We're gonna put the fuse cover back on. There you go. Boom. So check it out, check it out. Just tied up nicely here, tied up nicely here, and we're gonna put the two-piece manifold back together. So got the two-part manifold back together. Armin's working on the conversion harness, doing the wire taps over there, and I'm gonna be working on the throttle body connections. So here's our map sensor. That is on the intake manifold, so that's nice and easy. And then over here, we got the IAC. I don't think we're gonna be running an IAC. We have throttle position sensor. We definitely want to use this one. So that's going to have to get changed over to the Civic or B series, Integra, whatever, throttle position sensor. So I'm going to have to de-pin this one. And then over here is the intake air temperature sensor. That'll go into the intake elbow that's like over here. Here's what we got going on right now. So the throttle position sensor, the pin size on the B series is actually bigger, so the wires on this harness, on the K series harness, didn't plug into there. So I've just individually pushed the pins on there, and I will solder the B series connector onto the K series harness at a later time. We just want to try to get the car started for now. We're grounded very well. I cleaned the grounds, and we're grounded pretty well there. And then we're grounded from the battery ground. I cleaned those as well to the valve cover, and then the injector and coil plug grounds are here. Armin's got the KPro. He's gonna hook it up to his laptop. We're gonna upload a base map, and we're gonna try to fire. He's also done all the splicing required for the conversion harness. What do you think is gonna happen?
I think this shit's gonna blow up.
You think this is gonna start? First crack. I don't know about that. We're just gonna hook up the fuel system real quick because it's like, I'm pretty sure it's that easy. So we'll just, we'll do that. I'm just gonna give a quick rundown actually. So we got our fuel rail right here. And we got some AN fittings on either side. Got our braided hose, banjo fitting to AN. And then we have our regulator with a return nipple going to the factory return. And then we got a vacuum line here. We'll hook that up to the vacuum on the intake manifold. And yeah, should be good. So now to map out what's gonna happen, we got this going here, just push it up there, and then we want it to wrap just something like that. Go from, I don't know what the Go-Mats.
I think so.
All right.
Uno.
We have our fuel system quickly done. We had to use a 45, so I was not accounting for that, so we'll have to trim this line a little bit, but we'll do that after. The fuel rail's on, out the pressure gauge here, and we're going into the regulator, and then boom, into the return. Vacuum is going to the bottom of the intake manifold here. So now we're gonna turn the key and see what happens. I'm gonna put some glasses on just in case. Like, we seriously have no clue if this thing's gonna start or not, but you know.
Army 56.
Oil's probably a good idea.
That's fun.
Alright, so we got KPro or K Manager uploaded here, and we're gonna try to give it a crank. Again, we tried cranking it before. We had to swap the plugs on the C101 connector, and we also had to rewire the crank position sensor after Armin incorrectly wired it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah, definitely. So yeah, we're gonna start it up. We're gonna crank it, and we're gonna see. Our fuel pressure regulator leaks a tiny bit. I think it's from the fitting there, but all right, yeah, go for it. Oh my God, that was loud.
We're done.
This was a huge ass episode, and thank you for sticking with us. So yeah,
Thanks for bearing with us.
honestly, this was awesome. This was great. So just as some closing thoughts, eBay harnesses are no fun.
Don't get it.
They're
Spend the money.
so cheap.
Spend the money.
I would say, like, don't even buy a K-Tune one though, because I've heard those have issues too, like similar issues. But at the end of the day, you do get what you pay for. It is a wiring harness. Yes, there's wires on it. Yes, there's clips on it. Yes, it's labeled. But there was a few things that are well known that we had to go and change some pinouts, and it didn't cause, like, I wouldn't say huge issues, but annoying.
Just a stick in the mud.
Stick in the mud. We sat here for a good couple hours and just couldn't figure it out. Car's cranking. It's will we have issues in the future with it? Possibly, but
definitely.
For now it seems all right, which is, you know, which you just saw. What else did we do? Oh, the fuel system, we built that in literally like 10 minutes in real time. Like,
yeah.
It was crazy.
Took no time at all.
Yeah. The fuel system we already knew was going to be the easiest part of it. It is leaking a little bit out of the regulator, but we'll have to fix that.
Yeah.
Or just make sure it's tight. It might not be fully tight. And then there's just, we got a little cardboard list over there. Just finishing stuff like, you know, intake, for example, radiator, and just small things like that. Just to get the car actually drivable on the road, like a daily.
Roadkill style.
Roadkill style. No, this is not gonna be roadkill style.
We're gonna have headlights, don't worry.
Yeah. David Freiberger's like
Headlights.
but yeah, we're excited to kind of plug and chug just a few minor details. We won't actually be filming any of that because the details are minor and seems kind of pointless to me.
It's self-explanatory.
Yeah, the stuff's really simple. It's like, for example, you know, mount radiator, exhaust. Like, you know, you could just take that to an exhaust shop, and or if you are really looking for a DIY guide, we're not
that.
the go. We're not. That's not what we're here for. You know, we're here to show you how to get.
We're here to entertain
and get the K-Swaps going. You know,
Yeah.
that's what we're here for. Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, we got our job done.
Yep.
But yeah, just like little things, just torquing down the engine mounts and, you know, just tiny things. So we're not gonna film any of that, but we will be filming once it's completely ready on the road, and we'll be filming some pulls. So it'll
and
be
possible issues that pop up.
Yeah, it's gonna be like mid-December, probably like early January when we're done this. We're just gonna be doing pulls in the snow because we're Canadian, eh? Yeah, we live in our igloos and
drink maple syrup and play with our polar bear pet.
yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We're gonna go ride our polar bear 7-Eleven now.
Yeah. Drink our maple syrup.
Yeah.
Flavored Slurpee.
Yeah.
Alright. In the next one,
Love.
part 6, where we will be doing
You know this is part 6, right?
part 7, where we because the last one was part 5. Part 7, where we will be just
showing
doing
you the
little
car
things.
complete and doing pulls. Thanks, Armin.
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming out.
Want to redo that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, just kidding. We can redo that.
That was a really long outro.
That's fine. I'll cut a bunch out. Just say thanks for joining in. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in again.
And
Catch
part
you guys
6.
in part 6. Catch you guys in part 7.
Yeah.
So
Just to clarify, this is part 6.
part 6.
Yeah.
Catch you guys in part 7.
Hell yeah. Where we do lots of pulls
Lots of
and
polls.
lots of completeness of things.
Little things here and there.
Yeah.
Later.
Peace. Bang!